The gayest men in Minnesota. The gayest men in Minnesota. And once again, chat, how can they be lovers if they can't be friends? Well, there are some updates in the HRO saga of Nicholas Robert Rekieta and I think Aaron Michael Imholte, also known as Aaron Michael Imholte, also known as the Steel Toe Morning Show. And yes, there are some updates in the HRO saga. It was set for yesterday, but we didn't have it. What had happened was on July 21st, Ross Montgomery, the attorney that Aaron had hired, filed a notice of withdrawal of counsel because he looked at the case file and he's like, it's too gay! And he bailed. So he had to withdraw. It's not clear why. But anyways, he withdraws his counsel for Aaron Imholte in the above referenced matter. The notice was done there, and that part happened. You're like, okay, great. He withdrew. So what did Aaron do? Well, Aaron then turned around and did some filing. Here's where it is, chat. This is Aaron's attorney withdrawing notice of withdrawal. And then we saw on July 21st via e-filing, Aaron put together a letter to the court, and it says, Dear Court Administrator, my counsel Ross Montgomery had to withdraw from this case for personal reasons. He asked that my request for a brief continuance this matter be granted while my new counsel and I get up to speed on the cases. I politely and respectfully ask for some extra time to fully prepare for this hearing. Thank you, Aaron Imholte. Which, like, okay, he's got a snazzy signature, and you're like, but this is what Aaron's handwriting looks like. When I got that Stoney's gift certificate, chat, this is how it was written on there. And I was like, I wanted to ask, like, I asked Aaron, I'm like, do your kids help you write that? He's like, no, I wrote that. Aaron's like, no, I wrote that. I'm like, holy shit. You work on the penmanship there, brother. At least it's legible, but okay. It still worked. It's legible. And then after that, we once again have, by July 22nd, from the esteemed Francis White Law, the whitest law firm in all Minnesota, says, Dear District Court Judge, this correspondence is submitted in immediate response. They say, we oppose this request. Petitioner has had what appears to be extensive assistance from his now former counsel preparing his case. Yes. The exhibits uploaded to MNDS were extensive and numerous, and while I'm attempting to understand this then potential relevance to this hearing. Okay. So it sounds like he did his job. He's prepared. That said, there's no added benefit in continuance for either party. Well, for Aaron to have counsel, that's a pretty big benefit. I mean, unless you're arguing that you're such a shit lawyer, Nick may as well just do it on his own. By contrast, any continuance further extends the negative impact to my widow counsel Nicholas's occupation. Why? It hasn't stopped. Why? Nick's doing pretty good. He talks about Kurt all the time. I mean, like, Nick found a new groove talking about Kurt. I mean, I hear it, chat. I'll save you. Here's what Nick was going to say. Aaron ate my goo! There. Frank, does that help? I gave Nick, like, clip that out for, like, 5 hours in a row and loop it. And that's mainly, hold on here. Aaron ate my goo! But yes. Oh my God, Kurt makes food. It's like, all right. You know, I mean, okay. A continuance further extends the unconstitutional encroachment on Nick's First Amendment rights he has endured since the unfounded petition was filed. Why? He's saying what the fuck he wants anyway. At a certain point, matters simply need to be tried and resolved. I agree with you. But, you remember that first time you guys objected to a continuance? That made you look like dickheads. Now, would this one probably have been granted anyway? Sure. But you'd look a lot better position if you hadn't acted like dickheads for the first continuance. That's a practicing tip for you, Frank. That one's a free. Meter's not running on that. In addition, petitioner initiated this action. Yes. He was and remains the master of his action. Yes. As we are all the masters of our actions. As we learn, we are it is the consequences of our actions that brought us here, as quoted by someone else. And they quoted it to say to a child. much like Herodotus may quote the stories and the histories. Respondent has expended time and incurred significant expense preparing to defend himself against Aaron's allegations. How much fucking money did you charge him, Frank? I mean, God, how much are you fleecing this dude for? Like, does Mom and did Celeste and Bob just give you a blank check? Because if they did, like, good on you, man. Player to player, pimp to pimp. I respect that. But, like, how much fucking money does this really take? Did you have to watch all of Nick's shit where he, talks? Did you have to watch all of the fucking Hackmania shit? Like, what did you have to do? What did you have to do? I don't know. And any continuance would add there, too. I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. From what the courts will ultimately define to be a frivolous claim, I don't know if it's not going to be frivolous, but like I said, I still don't think Aaron wins. But it won't be frivolous. The respondent requests a hearing remains scheduled for July 23rd at 2 p.m. Well, court got involved. And yes, once again, as Nick learns, the old Negro spiritual that is part of the Rekieta family saga. Continuance request granted. Although you wonder, do you think of the Rekieta family crest, it has like denied? Let's say denied in Latin. Denied without forethought. Anyway, so what happened? It got reset to August 5th at, which time is this one at? Yes. So Nick and Melton, they are at 3:30 and 3 o'clock on the 5th. And the 5th is just under 2 weeks away. There we go, chat. That is the Baldo in extremis. My cat's name is Karen, says, who is suing who and for what? Aaron is seeking two, because in Minnesota you can do this because Minnesota is a land full of f***s. You can get what's called a harassment restraining order, where you go, this person's harassing me, ooh, and you can get a restraining order for that. You can, because Minnesota is a gay state full of cucks. Anyway, so that is what's going on. Aaron is seeking one against Nick and Melton. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens.